Please confirm that you guys can see my screen and listen to me in the chat, and then I will start. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Thank you. So we'll start. So today's session is very important session. So far we have seen the basic Scala constructs, and yeah, this is getting recorded. So people who don't have access to YouTube at their work, they can actually download this video once you got a notification from edX, and you can watch it. There is a way to download. I don't know 100% for sure, but you can figure it out. Okay, so so far we have seen how to set up Scala with SBT, and then how to add Eclipse plugin. And also we have seen a basic Scala constructs, if condition, for loop, while loop, the ternary operator, and how to create a function, etc. So today we will be getting into little bit advanced concepts like collections, typical type of collections like list, set, tuple. These three are the most important, and we deal with them on regular basis with respect to Spark. So I will start covering those things. And instead of taking highly generic examples, I will try to connect with some business use case while explaining those things, so that you get the logic about visualizing your application from Scala perspective and start developing using Scala. Okay, the main thing which you need to keep in mind is that you should avoid writing codes like this. So for example, if you want to get a result set, and if you want to process the result set, this is the traditional approach. You go through while loop, iterate through result set, extract the columns from the result set, and then do whatever you want. So you should not implement like this in Scala. Even though syntactically you can write this loop, you can write the code this way, you should not use this approach. Rather, you should use the piped approach, wherein you don't need to write while loop and all, but apply functions like map, reduce, filter, etc. For different purposes. So we'll get into that, how to visualize a business problem using Scala functional way of programming, and we will try to achieve that. So to just tell you how it will look like, instead of writing while loop like this is how it will look like if you want to write it in Scala. Okay, if it is a collection, regular collection, instead of result set, if it is collection, you don't need to write this piece. You can directly avoid this, and you can actually pass the collection, apply the map function, and on each record, if you want to do certain transformations, you can use map, and then you can use other set of functions that are available on the collection framework, and you can use those things. So we'll get into that. So the final outcome of this exercise is you should be able to think this way and start writing logic this way, rather than writing the traditional approach. Okay. So that being said, yesterday I have covered a little bit of collections. Okay, so you can actually get a range like this. If you want to simulate a range, you can directly say 1 to 10 like this, and it will give you the range. And this is nothing but a immutable collection. This, if you see the package, the class belongs to the super package called Scala.collection. So this is nothing but a collection. And as I have demonstrated earlier, you can actually using Scala command line interface or interpreter or REPL, you can hit a tab and it will autofill, and these are the functions that are available on this collection. And yesterday I have shown how to use fold to, if you want to add the numbers, how to use reduce, and how to use map to filter out for the to filter out the odd numbers if you want to add all the even numbers in the range. So these are the basics, and now we'll get into the actual details. So there are many classes that come under collection package, but most important ones are list, set, and then tuple. Okay, there is nothing like there is no class called tuple, but there is a term called tuple. We will see what is the difference between a list and a set and a tuple. And also map. Map is another one which you need to be familiar with. Okay, so list is nothing but a list of elements of same data type. So if you want to create a list, you can either you can create a immutable variable and give a name and say list 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will form a list. Okay, so here all the elements in the list have to belong to one data type. You can also say, if you want to declare with data type, you can also say list of int and then list 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, both are same. We don't need to specify the data type. It can infer from the data that is assigned to that element. Okay, and set is nothing but unique elements within the list. Is it that? I am not sure. List can, okay, yeah, if you declare it as list any, that's what here this guy did not specify the name. I don't know from who that guy is saying not able to see your screen. That's why I have been emphasizing. Please use your names while joining the session. Okay. Okay. Let me try this. Ramesh is saying we can create a list of elements. Yeah, you don't need to specify, but it will automatically infer as any. Yeah, if you define it as any, even if you do not specify the data type, it will return as list of type any. I think in that case, you can actually put whatever elements you want, whatever data type you want in that list. Whereas tuple, you don't need to specify yeah, the list or set. You can just say val I equal to, and in a circular brackets, you can say, and this is the of type tuple. Okay, so the difference between list, set, and tuple is list and set comes under collection. Tuple does not come under the typical collection like list and set. Okay, so here if you want to read elements from the list, let me create two different variables. This is list of type integers, and then here I am creating another variable called t, which is of type tuple. Okay, so now if I want to read elements from the list, what I have to do, I have to say I of 0. It's in the circular brackets. Then it will read the first element in the list. If you want to get the second element, you just have to say 1. Okay, whereas it is the same case with the set also. The main difference between list and set is nothing but unique values, whereas list can have duplicates. Okay, now if I want to read from list or set, I can use this notation. Okay, this is very important because we'll be using tuples and lists quite a bit when it comes to Spark. So you need to understand how you can read elements from list and tuple. Scala enforces a different way of dealing with typical collections and the tuple. Now, if I want to read tuple, the way you have to read is you have to say t dot and then use underscore and then the number, whatever you want to read. And unlike list or any other typical collection, it does not start with 0. tuples are referred, tuples reference starts with 1. So when I say t dot underscore 1, it will get the first element in the tuple. When I say t dot underscore 2, it will get the second element in the tuple. Okay, so these are the typical data structures we'll be using quite a bit while processing data in Spark. Hence, I am covering these things. And now you can if you say I dot and hit tab, it will show you all the APIs that are available. Because list is a collection, you can see the filter if you want to filter the data based on certain condition. There are many APIs that are available to deal with collections. If you want to apply transformations one element at a time, you have to use filter to filter out the data, map to convert to the record from one format to another format. You can use map. If you want to do aggregations and all those things, you can use fold or reduce. Fold right, fold left, reduce right, reduce left. So these are the APIs which can help you in aggregations using collections. That is correct. In set, the values are always sorted and unique. Whereas in list, they are all they can be unsorted set of elements. What is Ravindra? What is that, Ravindra? I didn't get you. No. I dot tab. Yeah. Autofill, it's like Linux. Okay. So these are, you take any object, and if you say dot and hit a tab, it will show you all the APIs that are available on that object. Okay. So this is just basics about collections. So now we also need to understand how to add elements to the collections. This is a little bit complicated. Means not complicated, but you don't find this kind of syntax in typical programming languages. Okay, like they have they have provided a different way of dealing with tuples than arrays or collections. Similarly, when it comes to dealing with lists, adding to the list and deleting from the list is a little bit different. So let's say you want to add a new element to this list. So the way you have to do is I colon plus 2. Okay. Earlier I have only 4 elements. Now the list has another element. Here it is not assigned to I. If you see, it is assigned to an implicit variable called result, just to print out on the screen. Okay. Here I is immutable variable, so we cannot add elements to I. For example, you cannot say I equal to I plus 2 because I is immutable. If I say var I equal to list 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if I say I equal to I plus 2, it will be adding to the existing list. Okay, and you can add before the first element. There is different syntax to add an element to the list before the first element. I think in some collections you can add in the middle also. I'm not 100% sure about the syntax. You can just use the reference, and you can understand how to add elements to these collections. Okay, and one more thing is sometimes they say if I say list, yeah, that's it. So you can delete also if you want to remove an element. I think you can say I forgot the syntax. Anyway, you can explore the syntax for reference, and you can You should know how to delete an element from the list, how to add the element to the list, etc. This is the basic usage. You can just append to the list by saying colon plus. Okay. So here, when we write this Scala program, we don't need to add to the list unless we are writing traditional loop like this. But in some cases, we might have to. So you need to know how to add elements to the list by using this syntax. Okay. So now we will talk about object-oriented concepts. So I just covered basics, and again, tomorrow and Friday, day after tomorrow, there will be no class. Tomorrow and Friday, we will be doing the exercise of getting data using MySQL as a database, getting data into a Scala program and manipulating it. We will do that entire exercise using all the concepts which are learned as part of the last class, this class. We will try to accomplish that. Okay. So now let's get into basics of object-oriented concepts in Scala. Okay. So in Java, again, the best practices say that try to use singletons as much as possible. But by default, your classes are not singletons. Your classes are regular classes. In Scala, if you want to create a singleton, you just have to use object. So that is what we have done as part of the Hello World program, which was developed earlier. We have created an object, and you have to create a means if you want to invoke a main function, you have to say object, give the name of the object, and then you have to define the main function. So it's similar to Java. How it will look like in Java? The main function will look like this: public static void main, and then you say string arguments. This is how it will look like in Java. So here you never define anything as static in Scala. I think it is not. It does not even allow. And also there is no return type called void in Scala. Scala always returns something, and in this case, if it is not specified, it returns a special type called unit. Okay, so this is same as defining return type like this. Okay, and then instead of saying public static void main, the syntax of any given function, as we have seen as part of the last class, starts with def. Here, actually, Karan mentioned that he's not able to watch my screen. Probably you might have to reconnect, Karan. I don't know why you are not able to watch. Probably you might have to disconnect and reconnect. Sorry that I'm responding to you a little bit late. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Okay, so the function specification starts with def, and for main function you have to say main. So whenever you define an object, you have to write a method like this or a function like this, otherwise it will complain. And then for arguments or parameters, the array data type has to be defined like this. Unlike in Java, you define array like this. Here you have to say array, and then array of whatever type you want to pass. You have to specify that, and main function takes array of strings, so you have to define it like this. And then you in the curly braces you can write whatever code you want, and then you can actually right click on it if you are using Scala IDE, run as Scala application, and it will print. Same thing if you define it here, even in the Scala REPL or interpreter or command line interface, you can say hw.main. Here, because it is taking array of string, you have to you have to say array of, and then it will print. Okay. So if you want to customize a little bit, you can actually say if you want to just say pass a parameter and say hello of that parameter, you can say like this. So arrays are subscripted using circular brackets. Unlike in Java or any other programming language, we use square brackets. Here we use circular brackets. And now you can say hw dot main Okay, so this is how you can write. If you are using Scala IDE and if you want to use that functionality, let me copy the same code here. I just want to show you how to pass the parameters using this IDE because there are few freshers who don't know about how to pass arguments using this Eclipse. For them, I'm showing this. You can say right click, run as, go to run configurations. Because here we are trying to read one argument, we have to say run as, run configurations. I'm not sure whether it is, yeah, Scala project, HW is the main class. So here I can say arguments and then Durga. Apply, run. Now you can see it is printed. So this is how you can actually pass arguments using Scala IDE. Okay. So this is how you can create a singleton class, and there is a concept called companion classes. With the same name of this object, if you create a class name, they are called as companion classes, which is not that important. But first, let us see what is the class and case class. There is a concept of classes in Scala, and also there is a specialized class called case class. So now let us see that. Before going into that, a lot of guys are having trouble using SBT because of some of the issues, and also some of the folks are asking about how to create a project using Maven. So let me show how to create a Maven project as well, and then we will try to implement all object-oriented concepts using Scala IDE itself. So far, we have used command line to explore different aspects of Scala programming. Now we will try to use Scala IDE to understand more about classes, case classes, etc. Okay. So here, what you have to do is, if you want to create a Maven project, select File, go to New, and then Project, and then choose Maven. Okay. If typically it might select General. Here you have to choose Maven. And sorry, Maven project under Maven. You might have to expand it. Just expand Maven project. Click on next. Here you can create a simple project or use default workspace location. It's up to you, whatever. Sorry, either you can directly create a simple project and click on next, and it will create a default Maven project. If you want, you can change the workspace location. I don't want to change the workspace location. But instead of using create a simple project from here, I will choose the default only, but I want to provide name for the artifact ID and group ID. Instead, it takes the name, general names, whatever it thinks from the project name chosen. I will try to give the artifact ID name and group ID name. That's why I am not choosing simple project here. And then click on next. So these are all different Maven archetypes. What is an archetype? Archetype is nothing but a wizard. So depending upon the archetype you have chosen, Maven will means Eclipse with the help of Maven will create a typical layout. Like it will create some source directory, source code directories. It will create test directories. If it is a web application, and if you choose the appropriate archetype for that web application, it will create a web info directory, meta info directory. All those things will be taken care for you. Here, a quick start is the simple archetype. It is a simple Java project archetype or wizard, and I'm using quick start itself here. And then click on next. Then it will ask for the group ID and artifact ID. Group ID is typically your organization name, and artifact ID is the application name. In this case, let me name it as Scala demo or Scala demo. Okay, click on finish. Now, if you see here, if you see this folder icon, there is a M, which means it's a Maven project, and then there is a J, which means it's a Java project. We have to say, we have to tell, convert this project to Scala. For that, you have to right click on this project, go to configure, and then click on add Scala nature. So choose the project, right click on it, and there will be configure at the bottom, and then there will be a add Scala nature. Only this will be available only if you have added Scala ID plugin. If you did not add the Scala ID plugin for your Eclipse, you will not see this option. Okay, then select add Scala nature. Now you can see here there is a M, and then here there is a S. M for Maven and S for Scala. So we are trying to create a Maven project for Scala. Okay, and then source main Java is primarily for Java code. Actually, you can have Java code as well as Scala code in the same in one project also. Okay, but it's not a good practice, or you might get confused unnecessarily. So I am creating a new source directory. How to do that? Right click on the project, go to new, and then create a source folder. And I want to name it as source main Scala. Finish. And also we will add one more directory later called source main resources, so that we, if we have to add any resources for our project, like external parameters, etc., or files which are required for our project, for externalizing parameters, etc., we can create a we can keep those things in that directory called source main resources. But for now, this is enough. And then if you want to create a hello world application in this project using Maven, you can right click on this and go to new, and then choose Scala object, give the name for your object, and here you can say def main args array of string, and then print hello world. So right click on this, run as Scala application, and your Maven based Scala project is ready. Okay, and if you want to build using Maven with SBT, if you want to create the jar file, you have to go to command line and you have to say SBT package. Then only the jar file will be created. With Maven, you can right click on this, go to Maven, go to run as, and then say Maven install. And it will create a jar file for you. This is the location. You can copy this jar file to your application server or Hadoop cluster to schedule applications which are part of this jar file. So this is how you can use Maven to build Scala-based applications. I don't think so. Both are same. Both are just build tools. The philosophy in SBT is you don't need to struggle with XML syntax to create dependencies on and all those things. And SBT gives you a little bit more flexibility because everything is Scala driven. Your build.sbt file will be like Scala, you can launch SBT, and the syntax of SBT commands uh, uh, is similar to Scala. So the philosophy is use one programming language from end to end to build your applications. Otherwise, you can use Maven if you are comfortable with Maven. Both are similar. I think even they actually download the dependencies from same location. We will understand about dependencies in a moment. Okay. So now, if you have to create external dependencies, for example, so Hemant is asking which is most used in industry. As in past, we have used SBT. However, many places I see preference for Maven. You can choose either of them. Yes, because Scala pushes for SBT, lot of guys use SBT, but Maven also good enough. Okay, Shishir is asking how to build the jar file. Just right click on this, go to run as, and then Maven install. You should be able to understand all these options. Okay, Maven clean is to delete this jar file which is created. Maven install will compile and generate the jar file. And there can be options. So if you choose Maven build, there is a concept of goals. You need to understand those things to leverage the flexibility provided by Maven to build your applications. Okay, but the typical way of building the jar file is just right click, run as, and Maven install. Okay. Now let us review the pom.xml. If you go to pom.xml, the simple archetype will create only one dependency called JUnit. It will not add any other dependencies to your project. And the JRE is chosen whenever you create the project. The default JRE will be chosen. You have to change this to the latest one. Just right click on this properties and go to installed JREs. We have 1.8 on my machine. I have 1.8 on my machine, so I have changed that. And you can expand this, and you can see because the dependency is only JUnit, there is a Maven dependency here. And then Scala library, these two will be automatically added because we have chosen Scala nature. Okay. Now let us see how to add the third-party dependencies to this. So the syntax of adding any dependency will be like this. Okay. So you don't need to have scope here. And we want to create a dependency for MySQL because in future we will be creating a simple application which will be reading from MySQL. So I'm taking the same as example and showing you how to create dependency to define how to create dependency for MySQL JDBC, MySQL JDBC connector, so that we can connect to the database later. For that, you can go to browser and say MySQL Java connector or JDBC connector. You can search for either of them. Choose this one. MySQL Java connector Maven dependency. Yeah, this is the more appropriate term. You can click on this, and here they are into 6 now, but I will be using 5. So let's say I want to get 5.1.13. Just select this thing, and this is for build.sbt. If you want to get Maven, this is how the dependency will look like. Actually, you can directly copy this one and add it to the dependencies tag in pom.xml and save it. Immediately after saving it, your Maven dependencies will get MySQL connector .jar. and then we can use JDBC code to connect to the database. Okay, so this is how you can create a Maven based project and create dependencies. And also, as part of the exercise, you need to include another dependency called type safe config. So I will leave it as an exercise for you. You take care of it. Okay. Now let's understand the data, because we are trying to connect to the database. And as if you go through the exercise, let me do that. Actually, let me go to the exercise. Workshop exercises. So this is the description and then problem statement. So let me explain what we have. Okay, so if you connect to, if you have MySQL client on your machine, you can say MySQL-u. The username is HR_RO. RO stands for read only. So you will not be able to insert anything in the tables. You can read the tables. So if you have MySQL on your machine or MySQL client on your machine, you can run this command. Otherwise, you have to log on to the gateway node and you have to run the same command from there. And then -h for the host name, and the host name is nn01.itversity.com, and then -p for password, and the password is itversity, and it has connect to the database which is running on this host. Okay, if you don't have MySQL installed on your machine, MySQL client installed on your machine, what you have to do, you have to SSH your user ID, which is provided as part of the labs.itversity.com. Okay, you have to log in and get the credentials from here. So let me sign out and use a different user. Okay, you can copy the password from here, and host name is nn01.itversity.com, and then paste that password. You can also click on open console, and you have username and password here. You can just copy the stuff, paste, and then copy the password, paste. Don't use Control V. You have to use Shift Insert. Whether it is PuTTY or here in Windows systems, you have to use Shift Insert. So you can connect to this, and then you can actually say MySQL-u HR_RO -h and then 01.itversity.com -p, and then you have to give the password, which is itversity. Okay, so this is how you can actually connect. So I'll be using this one where I have connected to database directly from my machine. Here I can say show databases to display what all databases this user have access to. HR is the main one. Information underscore schema, you just it's about data dictionary of this database, of the database which this user have access to. So here I have to say use HR, and then show tables. Okay, so these are the tables we have in this database. There is a table called employees, there is a table called departments, there is a table called regions, etc. So for this exercise, we are just interested on employees table. Okay, so this employees table have employee ID, first name, last name, email, phone number, hire date, job ID, salary, commission percent, manager ID, department ID. So from this data, I just want to know the user details about first name, last name, and the commission he will be earning in dollars. If you go through the data, commission is actually percent. Okay, commission is so for this user, the commission percentage is 35%. Okay, actually the percentage will the commission will be on the product, not on the salary. But for this purpose, what I'm saying is just multiply these two things to get the commission amount in dollars. If you think about it, commission will be on something else. It will not be on the salary. Okay, but for our purpose, for simplicity purpose, we are just multiplying the salary with commission percentage, and we are computing the formula for the formula to compute commission amount is the salary multiplied by commission percentage, to keep it simple. Okay, but there are some employees where there is no commission percentage specified. For them, we just have to say not eligible. Otherwise, we have to say commission amount that particular user will be earning. So typically, what will happen is in most of the cases, when someone is learning a new technology, they try to read raw data from the database, and they try to use the programming language to actually do even the simpler stuff. And I have observed that most of those guys, when they start working on the project, they follow the similar pattern. Instead of writing a good query in the database, they just get raw data from the database and try to do everything in the database. For example, in this case, they get the data from the database, and then in the application layer, they tend to multiply these two things and get the multiply these two things to implement the business logic, which is not a very good practice, and you will start hitting performance issues and all. Ideally, your select query should do as much work as possible to implement the facade pattern, and then you just build the object and pass on to the web layer or whatever it is from your data access layer. Okay, so here don't try to be too smart and try to do everything in Scala. Use the best practices. If you have to multiply these two things, just issue the query multiplying these two things. Here, if there is a null for commission percentage, we have to say not eligible as our desired output. So either you can use case statement and in the select query itself, if commission percentage is not null, then you can compute the commission amount. Otherwise, in the case statement in the select query itself, you can say this guy is not eligible. So it's better to implement as much as possible in the select query itself. Don't try to be too smart and try to get raw data and do the multiplication in the application logic or application layer. It is not a good practice. Okay, so try to follow as much best practices as possible and perform the stuff. So now using this data, my desired output as per the exercise is get the first name, last name, and then probably salary and commission percentage, and also commission amount. I want to have these 5 fields. So yeah, everyone have access to exercises. Let me see. Try accessing this. If you have any issues, let me know. I will take the action immediately. Everyone try to click on it and make sure you have access to it. Okay. So now let's get into the object-oriented concepts. And one more thing, using Scala IDE also, what you can do is you can right click on the project, and you can actually say Scala, create Scala interpreter in Scala demo. So whatever REPL we have seen earlier, we can actually access from here also. Okay, so you can now start testing your code snippets here before implementing as part of your program. But one caveat is, if I say val I equal to list, or actually I can say like this, 1 to 10 dot, and hit tab here, it will not work. It will not do the autofill. That is one disadvantage of using this. Probably there might be a way to enable that, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, that's one disadvantage of using Scala interpreter in Eclipse with Scala IDE plugin. Okay, now let's get into the business. Here what I'm saying, I want first name, last name, salary, commission amount, commission percentage, and commission amount. These are the 5 fields I need. So what I have to do, I have to create a class. If I want to pass the object to web layer, or the layer above the data access layer, you have to create the classes, and you have to pass those objects, the instance of those classes, to the web layer or wherever it is to render, if you want to build end-to-end application. So for that purpose, we have to create a class. So how to create a class here? In Java, what we do, we create class, we define variables. So it will look like this: class name, and then you give variable names like I integer equal to 0, j int equal to 0, and then you might have getter and setter methods. So void set I, and then you say this dot I equal to I, blah blah blah. So like that you will write the class. Here you don't need to write all this boilerplate code using Scala. You just have to say class. In this case, let us name it as employees or employee commission, whatever name you want to give. You can say, or employee, you can say like this, and then you just have to give the variable names. Okay, if you want to create class variables where it should not be manipulated anywhere else, we have to say val. So you can say val first name, and we have to give the data type, and first name is string here, and then val last name string, and val salary, double, val commission percentage, double, val commission amount, double, and hit enter. Now the class is created, which means that it actually created the boilerplate code for you. So all the getter and setter methods will be available for you. So in this case, these are all class variables. They are not instance variables. If you want to create with them as instance variables where they can be manipulated, you have to say like this: class employee var first name string var last name string blah blah blah. As long as you specify all these variables as var, they will become instance variables. Okay, and it will have a default constructor. You need to specify a default constructor. If you want to build a constructor on top of this, or if you want to do some additional, if you want to define methods. Okay, what you have to do is, so let's override the override toString method. So you can say override def toString, and let's say I want to print only first name for now. We will see it in detail how to take care of this thing later. So override def toString, and it returns string. Okay, let's say println. Just I'm printing only the first name. First name plus first name. Okay, toString. Okay, I'm sorry. I just have to return. I know because this is the last statement. It is trying to return this one. So the way it should work is, let me do this. Let me copy to Sublime Text. Okay, here I have to return first name. I want to just print the column name, and then I want to print the variable name. Okay, now I can copy this one and paste it here. Now the employee class is created. Okay, now I can create a class object saying val e equal to new employee Durga Rajaraju 10,000 35 percentage, and then 0. And you can see it is printing using the toString command, toString functionality. Okay, so object is created and it has printed whatever contents are there because we have overridden toString. Even if I say print of v, it will display the same thing. Okay, so this is how you can create class. So here in this case, these are all class level variables. If you want to make them instance level variables, we have to say var. And then there is a special class called case class. In case of case class, all the variables are by default class level variables. Okay, so same thing I can say like this case class. You can remove this val or var also, because always we have to specify only the class level variables in case class. We cannot specify instance level variables. Okay, and then copy, paste, and here you cannot create object of this. You cannot say new employee with case class. You have to just say employee and then copy this thing and hit enter. So here there will be no constructor for case class, but how it is working is there will be a special method called apply, and that apply method will be invoked if you try to use the class without the constructor. And with case class, you cannot create instance level objects or instances of the type of the class if your class is case class. So case class all have the immutable variables, and also it will not have constructor, and then it will have a apply method, and we can actually use it to as a pass through while processing the data. So as part of the data processing, it will come very handy, where the objects need not be created, but we can invoke the functions in that. So here what is happening is when you specify this one, let me zoom in a little bit. So we are almost done. So we'll continue tomorrow. Let me zoom in here. How to okay, let me copy this one. I am not comfortable with Sublime, but my cousin pushed me to start using it. He is a JavaScript developer. He is the one who developed that labs.itversity.com, and he pushed me to use this Sublime, and I always struggle. So now you see, forget about errors. We will take care of those things later. So here, why it is complaining? It should not comply. Okay, I understand now. Case employee. Let me do this. Then there won't be errors for our distraction. So now, if you see here, if you create a class of a typical class, if you create if you specify the class with all immutable variables or class level variables, so all these are class level variables. In that case, it will not use it will have constructor for you, but you cannot actually manipulate these once the object is created. Okay, that is not possible. That is the purpose of differentiation between val and var. With respect to case, one difference is you don't need to specify for each and every object that it is immutable variable, because the idea of case class itself is that all the variables of that class are class level variables. So according to Scala philosophy, you don't need to put whatever is unnecessary while typing the code. That's why you don't need to specify. And then if you don't want to create objects of a particular class, but use it as a pass-through as part of data processing and all, then it's better to use case class. It's like static class. Okay, static class, you cannot create objects. So instead of saying static class and implementing functionality as per the staticness, because Scala does not support static, they have came up with case keyword, where they have enforced all the required things automatically for you. You don't need to worry about following syntax and create whatever is relevant for the static class. Okay, so case class, you can visualize it as a static class which have all class level variables and can be used for pass through while doing the data processing. So coming back to our original problem, okay, here we have to write code like this, right? And I don't want to create instance. I just want to apply use this case class. So for this example, I have used case class only. Okay, if you try to say new and invoke constructor, it will do a lot more job. Overhead will be relatively high. So I want to use static class. Hence, I am using a case class in this case because we are using Scala, and then I am passing all the class level values to all the class level variables, and then I am iterating through it using for each. So that is the purpose of case class. It's replacement of static class in Java. Okay, so that being said, that's it for today. So we have covered collections and creating Maven projects using Scala IDE for Eclipse. And third, we have understood what is an object, what is class, what is case class, and also I have given details about the exercise. So tomorrow, as well as Friday, we will be doing the exercise. I will be there for you to support. You just have to come up with the design and have to implement. Probably tomorrow also I will spend 15-20 minutes on explaining a little bit about another external dependency, which is type safe config, and you can take it from there. And then people who have taken my earlier training, I will actually give little bit different exercise, and they have to take care of that. Okay, so their exercise will be a little bit different. They have to do both the exercises. And yeah, I don't know whether Chandana or Chandu Verma have joined this session. So for rest of the folks, from tomorrow the session will be at 10:30 a.m. Okay, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. India time. It's not 2:30 to 4:30. Ankit have asked me about that. I told him I will confirm today. So we will change the timing to 10:30 to 12:30 tomorrow. So make sure you guys are all available by 10:30. First 1 hour we will be dealing with Scala. Second 1 hour a Scala and Spark workshop, and second 1 hour will continue on HDFS, Scoop, etc. So the time is changed to 10:30 to 12:30. There are 3 or 4 folks joining outside Tawant. If you have any issues with that timings, let me know. I will see what I can do for you. That being said, that's it for Scala and Spark workshop. And I will launch the YouTube live session, a different YouTube live session for the next topic, which is we will be starting on Scoop today. Okay, unless you have issues with yesterday's exercise, we will start on Scoop. So let me start the new YouTube session and also new recording, and then we will take it from there. Just 2 minutes. You can take break if you want for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will start on Scoop. That being said, thank you. Bye. So those who are on YouTube live session, if you want to attend the next session also, just stay tuned. I will create a new YouTube live session, and you guys can join.